Hello everyone and welcome back to another round of footy tips here on the YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be breaking down who I am tipping ahead of these 7 games of football here in round 15, as well as reviewing my tips and seeing how many I got incorrect and how many I got correct in round 14. Now if you guys do go on to enjoy today's video, as always, could you show me that by liking the video as well as subscribing to the channel if you guys are new. Enough wasting your time, let's just get straight into it. Now as always, before we do get into the tipping, I just want to quickly acknowledge the fact that I do have a tipping comp for the 2025 AFL season, and last week we officially hit 100 members over there. And now if you do get first place in my tipping comp by the end of the AFL final series, you will receive a cash prize of $100, as well as an external second and third place prize. Second place you will receive $30 and third place you'll receive $15. So you're definitely going to want to jump onto that instantly, and a link to join is in the description below. In third place currently is ESPN Fan. Second place is DeConti8, and yet again in first place, no shock as he is absolutely dominating in my competition, is Ben Rafferty. Now I myself have slowly dropped on the rankings in my tipping comps, currently sitting at 33rd, and I really shows after last week when I scored a 5 out of 7. I feel like my tipping has been above average this year, but just clearly not good enough to win any competitions. The 2 games that I did get incorrect last week, the first one was Brisbane v Giants. I feel like that was a common one that people probably got incorrect, as most people would have easily tipped the Lions to get over. And I don't know, maybe the Giants season's back on after getting that win over there, especially as it was being played up in Queensland, but I guess you never know with the Giants. And I felt like Melbourne could potentially have gotten the upset against Port Adelaide, but unfortunately I was very incorrect about that after getting a 30-point loss. But yeah, I'm really disappointed about that one. I just wanted to go a bit of an upset for that week, but I guess probably should have just played my cards right. To kick off the round at 8:10 p.m. on the Thursday night, we have Fremantle taking on the Essendon Bombers over in Perth at Optus Stadium. Fremantle will obviously go into this game very heavy favourites, and unfortunately, due to Essendon's shocking nearly 100-point loss last week against the Geelong Cats, it seems like their season is officially come to an end. There was still that slight hope a few weeks ago that maybe they could play finals in 2025 if they just found some form in the second half of the season, but unfortunately that was not the case, and it seems like their season is well and truly over. And despite them obviously having some young talent in Nate Caddy and Isaac Kako, Archie Roberts is even a really good one as well. They just obviously won't be able to do too much compared to Fremantle's side. They've obviously got Caleb Serong, Andrew Brayshaw in the midfield, but you never know. If Merritt, Caldwell and Nick Munn do play at their very best, who's to say that Essendon can't get over the line? But unfortunately, just them 3 players carrying Essendon on their back every single week, it's just not going to be enough, which is why I will tip Fremantle to get the job done at home, and we'll go Fremantle by 40. Probably not the ideal start to the Thursday. Now moving on to the Friday at 7:40 p.m. over in Geelong at GMHBA Stadium, we have the Geelong Cats, the second places, taking on the third places in the Brisbane Lions. 2 very informed sides, 2 teams arguably fighting for that top spot, despite obviously Collingwood being a game ahead of everyone. Jeremy Cameron well and truly leading that Coleman leaderboard. I think he's got a 6-goal difference against the second place Jesse Hogan. Bailey Smith, he arguably will be leading in the Brownlow at this current time. Ashcroft, Zorko, McCluggage, Neal, they're all absolute guns for the Brisbane Lions, and they're going to definitely need to step up this week, especially if they want to get it done in an away game. So the fact that it is over in Geelong does make my tip persuade a little bit more to their side, but obviously I feel like the Brisbane Lions are the overall better team. They should go into this one very good favourites, although you have seen them face off against some poorer sides this year and just really struggle. I think they obviously drew against North Melbourne. I'm pretty sure it was a close game against Melbourne as well. Maxi Holmes, he's a really good midfielder for the Geelong Cats. I feel like both teams' midfield, forward line and obviously back line is very similar. It seems like Eric Hipwood could be playing in defence for the next few weeks unless they bring someone up. Obviously, Payne did get injured last week in the Brisbane Lions game. They were forced to put Hipwood down back. I will be tipping the Geelong Cats though to get the home win. Let's go Cats by 12. To start for Saturday at 1:20 p.m, we have the Carlton Blues taking on North Melbourne at the MCG. Look, let's face it, I know Carlton aren't a very good side. They still got a 40-point win though, so you're not going to complain about that. Obviously, Curnow was subbed off at half-time due to an injury. Looks like he'll be out for a fair while, and if not the season, he'll return very late. But nonetheless, I think they've got a pretty stacked out midfield. Their defence is really good as well, and I think they should be able to get over the line pretty easily against North Melbourne, who are very out of form. We'll go the Carlton Blues. I feel like this one will be closer than what it should be. And we'll go Blues by 25. Port Adelaide taking on the Swans is the next game at 4:15 over in the Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide's home game, obviously they will have the home crowd advantage. I can't imagine there will be too many Sydney supporters travelling up to this game, but there will be a few. Port Adelaide will go into this game favourites, but I wouldn't be having your hopes up too high, Port Adelaide fans, as the Swans aren't too far behind you guys on the ladder. Port Adelaide do currently sit on 11th, with the Swans sitting at 13th, so only a 2-spot difference there. Mitch Georgiades having to kick 7 goals last week, sneaking his way into the top 5 of the Coleman Medal leaderboard. Both midfields are pretty stacked out at the moment, obviously with Connor Rosie, Zach Butters. As for the Swans though, they have got Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney as well, who definitely played a better season last year, but not to say that he hasn't been too good this year. It'd be really hard to tip this one. I could go an upset in the Swans, but I think as it is being played at home, it will just be just that little bit more that Port Adelaide need to get over the line. I'm going to tip the Power to get the job done here. Let's go Power by 3 goals. And to finish off the Saturday at 7:35 PM at Marvel Stadium, we've got my Magpies taking on the St Kilda Saints. The Saints have beaten us the last time they versed us, and I believe it was a pretty big margin back in 2024. We're currently first on the ladder. St Kilda are a team that is still fighting to make the 8, and I think after that game they lost against West Coast, I'd be pretty shocked if they got the job done against us. Although to be fair, I've talked to a few St Kilda supporters and they agree that it's such a St Kilda thing to do. Lose to the worst team in the comp in West Coast, but beat the best team in the comp being Collingwood. But it'd be very, very wrong of me to not tip the Pies this week. And it'd be very wrong for anyone watching to not tip the Pies this week. Although the Pies don't typically like playing at Marvel Stadium, we play some pretty poor football over at Marvel, but I just don't think that'll be much of a difference. We are going to tip the Pies though. It might be a bit up and down throughout the game. St Kilda might take the lead early. It might be a close game, even at 3/4 time even, but we will kick away in the 4th quarter. I'll go Pies by 40. Now moving on to the 1:10 games over on the Sunday, we have the GWS Giants taking on the Gold Coast Suns at NG Stadium. This one will arguably be game of the round. Now obviously the Gold Coast Suns, you'd argue, are a better team than the Giants currently, but they're not too far behind each other on the ladder. The Giants are currently 7th and the Suns are currently in 6th, meaning that if the Suns do happen to lose this game, there's a likelihood that they do drop out of the 8 by the end of this week's round. Jesse Hogan kicked 6 goals last week, so they're definitely going to be hoping that he is playing as well as he did last week. This one is obviously being played in Sydney. If this was in Gold Coast, I feel like I'd instantly be tipping the Suns, and I feel like they would be favourites going into this one, which is not the case. Aaron Cadman, that was arguably his best game that he played all season last week, and one of his career best games ever. Toby Green did miss last week's game, unfortunately. I don't know how long he is out for. There's a potential return for him this week though. Tom Green, we've seen better games from him, but he did play a really, really good role last week and did happen to get over the line against the Brisbane Lions. As for the Suns though, they will be returning back on fresh legs after their bye last week. One of the 4 teams to receive a bye last week. Maybe resting some of their players will give them a bit more of an advantage. Anderson and Rao have been their best players all year. Even Jared Witts, their ruckman, has been really, really good this year. Took Miller's been a bit up and down in some of their games, but he has been easily top 5 of their best players. I just don't know if the Suns will have what it takes to get over the line this week though. We could be in for a few close games in this round of football, and I will be tipping the Giants to get over the line. I want it to be a close game for Sunday football. I'm going to tip the Giants to get up by 5 points. And the reason I tip that one to be a close game is because I know the final game of the round is not going to be close at all, as the Western Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium at 3:20 PM taking on the Richmond Tigers. And I feel like you know where my tip's going this way. Obviously an absolute huge win against the St Kilda Saints last Thursday. Obviously Tigers not the greatest team in the world, and Dogs, if they really want to show that they are the real deal this year, then they're definitely going to be wanting to get over the line this week. They do sit at 9th place, meaning that if they do win this game, they're likely, I'm pretty sure they're almost guaranteed to jump into the 8 if they do win this game, assuming that they do. And it's going to be a huge percentage booster, assuming that they do thrash them. So I will obviously tip the Dogs going into this one. Sam Darcy's back. I want to see him kick a bag this week, and I think he's likely to. Let's go, the Dogs to win the game by 57 points. Alright everyone, and that is it. Sorry if I don't seem too energetic in today's video. Obviously I am feeling a bit sick, so that's a bit why I'm not too keen, but I'm still trying to get this video out for you guys. I'm trying to get the tips out every single week. There's just some weeks I obviously can't, like last week where I just unfortunately didn't have the time to get it out on the Tuesday as there was a game on the Monday, and I just don't see a point getting the tips out on a Wednesday. It's just no really point for me and for you guys. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy, could you please show me that by liking the video as well as subscribing to the channel if you guys are new. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video that I post here on the channel.